facing the police every single day.
Can I help you, sir?
Yeah, so what is this? This is in memory of fallen,
Any hero.
okay,
It started out as military first responders, and it's kind of evolved, because initially we would do this on Memorial Day,
right,
but we've been rained out horribly so many times,
so
then we decided to move it to
It's hard when they're
Veterans
so
Day.
far away, though.
Every flag represents someone,
Do you get to talk to them a lot?
someone that a family member or someone that you knew or someone
Right.
you were that have passed.
Right.
typically,
So like
and you wanna
Ryan,
remember them.
when they service,
Right.
they can contact.
Oh, so this is literally memory from people here in Punta Gorda or everywhere?
Wherever, anywhere.
So like
Right.
my daughter-in-law.
Huh.
My father and
got married
grandfather
earlier
out
this
there.
year, so she's
somewhere.
up there in Groton with them.
Okay, so they have to approach you, or they have to you approach
No,
them?
So
Now,
here's
like,
our,
they had a
this
big
is our
deployment
flyer.
program.
Right.
They
We
were out
have
for
a
about 7
website.
months.
We're at the Punta Gorda
And
Rotary.
Right.
Then they
And
finally
there's-
announced the
For
date
$40,
to the families.
you can
You
purchase
know, like
a flag.
you're not allowed to
You
give
have
it
an
like on
option
social media or
dedicated
anything
to
like
whomever
that.
you want.
Right.
One
And
of
then
their
when this
reports
closes
got
down
canceled.
tomorrow
They were
morning,
supposed to pull
You
into
can come and
Scotland
pick up the flag.
when they were
Wow.
Have it
and that got
folded
canceled.
Right.
because Somebody put something
so it's
on
ready to
social
go in
media.
that.
Right.
So they had to
With a little
scratch that.
card.
Right.
Want me to take a walk with you and show you how it looks?
No, that's all right. Because I was asking,
So, like,
have
they
you
went
guys
to
heard of
Norway
a
few times.
documentary,
They contacted us when we were in
Dinesh
Norway.
D'Souza? You ever heard of him? He
They're
does
alive.
documentaries.
They were
Dinesh
kinda
D'Souza.
over,
He's an
I'm
Indian guy.
guessing, in Russia's neck of the woods.
I don't think so.
All right, he just did a
Can't tell us.
documentary
Just have to
on
guess
because of
based
everything
on
going on
what
in
they
America right now. Called the documentary "Police State" because he's saying, and I'm
So,
just
like,
getting
they
your
came
opinion
back
on
in
this.
August.
He's
That was
saying
the
that what they're
big
doing to
one.
January 6 people and
then,
Trump is like reminiscent to China, North Korea, Germany.
Got distracted, I'm sorry.
What do you guys think about that? That's good, bad,
I haven't seen the documentary.
right?
My dad went to Korea, so I know
Right.
that was bad.
Right,
I think that the world needs a good spanking.
right,
Everybody needs to learn to get along.
right,
And I think that they need to, that's how I was raised,
right,
that they need to find that everybody's human. We all have commonalities. It shouldn't be you're Korean, so I don't like you, or
Right.
you're Chinese or whatever, and I'm Hispanic and you don't like it. It shouldn't
Right.
be that way.
Well, now we're talking about America, though. I mean,
It shouldn't be, absolutely should not be that way.
yeah. So
And
Trump,
if you feel that strongly, then you're in this country and you're
Right.
from another country. How do I help you get on the plane to get your ass out of here?
right,
How about that?
right. But you know,
Clearly,
we're
I
supposed to be
feel.
the last bastion of freedom, though, right?
They have no right to do that.
Right. So
why
yeah,
they
they got charges on Trump. They got charges on January 6 people. Yet BLM burned down cities, and they weren't crucified like this, right?
Exactly.
So here's a question. So the veterans took the oath of foreign and domestic. Are they ever going to do domestic again, like our founding fathers did, or
I don't have the answer to that.
what's the Second Amendment for? Hunting or bad government hunting?
Officially, Rotary doesn't take any position on like political matters.
Right.
You know, so we're just here to support our veterans and our local community heroes who are
Right.
on these flags. And,
Right.
And we're proud to do that. We're
Right.
proud to do that.
Right.
And you know what? Maybe by us doing that, would change some hearts and minds.
Right.
I mean, that's the best we can
I
hope
honestly
for.
believe that the Second Amendment allows us to have the freedoms that we have, and that we don't have other countries. Because look, other countries like I don't use Australia as an example.
Right.
They don't have guns, right? But
Well, they did have guns,
Did,
and when they
yeah,
took them,
yeah.
look what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost instantly.
Right.
The only people that had guns were the cops and the bad guys.
yeah, so what it does is it allows us to have the freedoms, but to be able to voice our opinion and not
Right.
be, I think, chastised to the point that our government is going to push back on us that badly. However, look what happened with COVID. Look what happened with what's going on.
Yeah,
today.
correct.
We can't really speak our mind. I can't even post something on Facebook without being shut down. So that, for me, freedom of speech has been eliminated. However, Facebook owns Facebook or whatever the hell
Right.
it is. Zuckerberg can do whatever he wants.
Right.
We already know his political aspirations.
Right.
What political standing,
But at least he exposed what the government was having them do, right?
which is great. I think his hand was forced
Right.
on some level because
Right.
his company was diving and still is. I think it's
Right.
not doing well. It's again rebranding to Meta,
Right.
whatever he's doing to try to change that.
Right.
Of course, but personally, I could do away with all that crap.
Right.
Because there are people on there that are just, it's a way to keep us at odds. Is what you were saying, you know.
Correct.
Facebook does nothing but create.
Actually, on purpose, they got the documents for that. That is correct. That is true. It is.
How do you destroy a strong country? From
Right.
within, right.
Right.
So how do you do that with social media?
Right.
People talk about the Industrial Revolution being like the bad thing in
Right.
a lot of ways because it changed the course of history. It changed how we were going to
Correct.
jobs and work. But then I will tell you that I think as old, now that I'm 50 or 54, the advent of the internet and
Right.
Facebook and of social media
Right.
has dramatically, exponentially changed the way we conduct ourselves,
Right.
you know, in society. So
And it's a double-edged
with-
sword.
it is
It is.
because if we didn't have it,
We wouldn't know about all this crap going
we'd be in the
on.
dark.
That's
but on the other hand,
correct.
because we have it, we can be at odds with one another. There are so many people that jump online and bash somebody like myself who just expressed my opinion about, like that guy that did the shooting up in Maine. You heard about that? The 18 people that were killed.
Yep.
Right. So
Yep.
friends of mine,
Oh, yes.
and good friends of mine. You know, they
Maybe
see.
today.
I work in medicine myself. I'm a therapist, and so.
If more people had a gun, he would have been dead.
If they were able to the thing is up in Lewiston, in that I was from there.
Right.
I used to cover that territory. People actually in Lewiston have guns, but I think in those particular establishments, you're not allowed to carry.
There you go, gun-free zones.
Now there were guys that had guns out in the car, but they couldn't get out to the car to get.
Right.
And he had big. I mean, this one shot and will destroy you. That's how bad the
Yep.
caliber was. But mental health is a huge problem in our country. You're a nurse. You said so. Mental health issues are the biggest. One of the biggest. That's a crisis in our country. That
Right.
We're ignoring.
And nobody's addressing it.
Nobody's addressing. You know why? It's not sexy. It doesn't get votes. It's not like a gun that gets votes, right? That's something we can argue about. Nobody's going to argue that mental health is an issue.
Right.
You're going to stand here and tell me that it's not. That mental health shouldn't be looked at.
But I'm afraid they're going to say everybody's mental and try to take away their rights. You get what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Red flag laws, man, abusing it.
Red flag and yellow flags, and that's what happened in Maine. It was a yellow flag law instead of red flag law. This guy was actually, he voluntarily committed himself to a place in South Portland called Harbor something or other, and was there for 2 weeks because he had voices in his head, right?
Right.
Yet they didn't take his guns away or prevent him from having a weapon because it's a yellow flag law. He voluntarily did it. Now, involuntarily, they would have confiscated his guns and not allowed him to have a weapon
Right.
because of the situation. So what happens now? This guy kills all these people because he's hearing voices in his head. Goes out in the woods, and I said to Teresa, I bet you he went out in the woods and he shot himself.
Yes,
It's hard
correct.
to find somebody in the woods of Maine. It's
Correct.
dense. So sure enough, 3 days later, he was out in the woods. They found him dead. Right. So I say he's a mental health issue. Clearly a mental health issue. And that's what he got out into the woods and said, "Oh my God, what did I do?" Boom, killed himself.
But here's the point, too.
somebody
If
somebody
you
says,
take
well,
away,
this is-
you know you
people
can't.
online saying it wasn't mental health. I say, well, wait a minute now. So you're going to tell me that people who commit suicide, you can say that they have mental health, but because they killed 18 people before they did it, they don't have mental health? Because people are saying rotten hell. You deserve that bullet in the head. All this stuff, and I say, wait a minute, pump the brakes. The guy had a mental health. The system failed him and failed all those 18 people in all that town in the state of Maine, in the country. The system failed him because they didn't do what was right in terms of taking care of his mental health issue. But nobody wants to talk about that stuff because it's not sexy. It doesn't get votes.
Taking the guns doesn't work. If you want a gun, you're going to get a gun. There's so many guns in America, it's ridiculous.
I never had a gun. I'm not a gun person.
Well, look at that marathon with a pressure cooker. Should we ban all pressure cookers?
Right, exactly. Boston Marathon.
Okay, what's the first murder weapon in the Bible?
Thank you so much, Marion.
A knife?
A rock.
A rock.
Should we ban rocks?
Exactly, yeah.
So that's my point. You can't ban it your way out of it. So like my question was to them, okay, I'll ask you the question then. The veterans took an oath, foreign and domestic. Is it getting to the point where we need to take care of domestic, clean house, and start anew?
Oh, well, no, I don't know about clean house. When you use the word vaguely, broadly,
Right.
clean house, what does that mean?
Well, what did our founding fathers do? I don't like Civil War, but I mean, right now, with them going crazy on Trump, January 6th, if you say anything, you're going to be crucified now. That's not America. That's which country? Think of one.
Russia. Well,
There you go. That's right. In Russia, they would hold a white sign and they would be arrested. I mean, is it almost to that point?
We're getting close. Except look at what's happening with people from Palestine that can.
Oh, dude, that is so messed up.
So now you guys look at the map that they just put. So to answer your question, I think we do need an overall. See, Trump
Reset.
exposed a lot.
Yes, he did.
Exposed a lot, which is why they don't want him back.
That's correct.
Because he exposed so much, and then giving him a second term, he's going to expose even more.
Correct.
Like him, hate him, I don't care. Whatever.
I
think
agree.
he's funny as hell because he's so raw.
Correct.
He's like a raw nerve. You know
Right.
what I mean? He's like a toothache.
He's like an idiot savant, man. He just
But
blew right out, man.
And the thing, he just doesn't have that filter, which
That's
makes
correct.
me laugh because he's comical, but he's smart.
Right.
He's a smart guy, whether you like him or not. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
And he's exposing the government for what it is. And look what Ramaswamy. He's a
Oh,
smart
he
guy
did good
too.
the other day.
I love this guy.
He did good the other day.
He did great.
He kicked ass.
And the fact that Haley took he said something about her daughter being on TikTok. Hey, it's all fair game. So because are we supposed to be hands off?
Right.
Are we supposed to just say
Right.
we're not going to attack
Right.
because you're a woman?
Right.
Because so
I know,
coming
that's
to her
not-
defense. I
that's
said,
sad.
whoa,
Right.
let's slow down here.
Right.
She's in the mix of it just like everybody else.
Correct.
You could say the same thing about Ramaswamy or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So you can attack him, but
Right.
he can't attack you.
Right.
Or even he didn't say anything bad about her daughter. He just
Right.
said that she was on TikTok. That's all.
Right.
And she took offense. How weak is that?
We're
How
pretty weak,
weak
man.
is
We're
that
pretty weak.
For her to get angry over something
Right.
like that.
Right.
She should have just said, say whatever you want. Instead she called him a scumbag or
Right.
something. You were triggered that easily with that word?
Right.
How weak is that?
Right.
You come at me with something like that, I just go, come
Right.
on, please.
By the way, did you
I'm a lot
know?
tougher than
Did
that.
you know DeSantis banned free speech against Jews? I'm not saying it's good to say stuff against Jews, but did you know he made a law banning free speech against Jews in Florida? Like a couple. He did. He arrested. I don't know if you know this. There's a Nazi party in Florida. I don't agree with what they say. He arrested 4 of them. Okay, just for the Nazi sign. Okay. But look at everybody protesting to kill the Jews, and he's not arresting them. So how is this equal justice?
It's not equal justice. Here's the thing. Everybody, even my wife, I love DeSantis, and I say, DeSantis is truly a politician. He's a little more polished politician.
Right. Half politician, half fascist, in my
That's
opinion.
right. I don't
He's
really
tried to
care.
kill a lot of free speech.
Yeah, and I don't really care for that. You know?
Right.
And here's the thing: some of the laws, some of the gun laws here in Florida,
Right.
don't make any sense.
They do. That
They don't
is
make any
correct.
sense whatsoever.
Absolutely
if
correct.
you're a law-abiding citizen, that's one thing. But he has just sort of made a blanket policy, if you will,
Right.
that allows anybody to carry a gun. I could be carrying right now,
Right.
with no weapons training or anything. I was
Right.
in the military, so I know how to use a weapon.
Right.
But I can anybody, any Joe Schmo can just go get a weapon.
Right.
Without, if you don't have a felony,
Right.
you can go get a weapon.
Correct.
I think there should be some things in place to help to encourage people to have good gun safety. Like in Maine, everybody and their brother had a gun.
Right.
Families, they pass them down.
That's correct.
It's hunting and fishing and it's learning how to use a weapon.
Correct.
You don't see a lot of accidental shootings up in Maine. Kids
Correct.
getting into parents' guns
'Cause they're
sitting
hunters.
out.
That's
They're hunters.
correct.
They know how to use a weapon.
That's correct.
My son knows how to use a weapon because his grandfather was a hunter, and so
Right.
my daughter has a weapon. She carries.
Right.
She's in Maine. She carries.
Right.
In her car because she's and you shouldn't have to.
Right.
But you do today.
You do today,
You
absolutely.
didn't have to, but she got pulled over for inspection sticker.
Right.
And she had to tell the cop, had her hands on the steering wheel, said,
Yeah.
I need to tell you I have a gun in my middle console.
Right.
And he said, thank you for letting me know.
Right.
Gave her a warning about her
Yep.
inspection sticker, and he said, really glad you're carrying a weapon. The cop said that to my daughter. I'm glad you're carrying
Because
a
do
weapon.
you
Why is he
agree,
glad?
more guns, less crime?
Absolutely.
Okay, yes.
And the other piece is this: we can't call out where the crime really is happening. People call me a racist because I say this.
Right.
It just cracks me up, and I say I'm not a racist.
Right.
Listen, I don't have very many black friends or Hispanic friends,
Right.
or whatever, but I'm not a racist.
Right.
I'm a loving person. I
Right.
don't care about people where you come from, or whatever. Just assimilate and have fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? Enjoy.
Correct.
Be nice to each other. But when I researched Punta Gorda, we're
Right.
from Maine.
Right.
We've only been here for a year and a half. When I researched Punta Gorda, or when I looked at different areas of
Right.
Florida that we wanted to live in,
Right.
I looked at demographics.
Right.
Because when you have, you know,
Guesstimate what I said.
70% of the population, 65% or whatever it
Right.
is, maybe it's changed since
Right.
2 years ago.
Right.
When 65% of the population
I'm just gonna
is
call
committing,
the yacht
you know,
club tomorrow.
I'm sorry, when 20% of the population is
Right.
committing 65% of the crime,
Right.
you got to wonder about that.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
what is that? It's Black Americans.
Right.
Hispanics, right?
Right.
So I looked at all of that.
Right.
So, okay. Who's here? Racist.
Right.
No, I'm trying to protect my family. I'm trying to do
Right.
what's right. I don't want to be burglarized. I
Right.
don't want to be held at gunpoint.
Right.
Now that could happen anywhere.
That's
Anywhere.
correct. That's correct.
But I'm gonna put myself at less of a risk of that. If I
Right.
put myself, now, if I put myself in downtown Chicago,
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
does that make any sense? I wouldn't
Right.
do that.
Right.
Like living in Maine, I'm not gonna live in. I used to love Portland. I grew up there.
Right.
I would never live in Portland now. I used
Oh
to-
yeah, yeah.
I would
it's
never.
bad.
It's a
Right.
shithole now.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
oh. Anyway.
All right. What's
Are
your
you
name?
Filming or no?
Huh?
Are you filming?
Yeah, I'm doing a documentary on this.
Oh, are you really? This is a great tip.
Yes, it is.
This is wonderful.
It is.
The
Good to
goal
meet you,
should-
man.
Good to meet you. The goal should be